Welcome back. Today is a little bit of a weird video. So I've tried a lot of makeup this year and I've taken some chances, and some of them were absolute wins and some of them were leaving me a little unsure and leaving me to a point where I almost either decluttered these products or I just kind of forgot that I had them because I just wasn't really sure about how I felt about them. But once I gave them the chance, my mind completely changed. So I'm going to be doing a full face of products that I changed my mind about in 2022. And yeah, I'm really happy I did, because I think all of these products are luxury products, which is, you know, not cheap. We're not promoting excessive spending here, but I am promoting buying things of quality. So when you buy something that's expensive and you're like, and then you just don't use it, you kind of feel like a fool. You feel like a fool. And I no longer feel like a fool. They're kind of in my rotation now, so that's great. Anyways, so yeah, we're just gonna get into it. I'm just gonna do a full face of makeup that I changed my mind about, and blah. So the first product that I changed my mind about this year is the Ilia Super Skin Serum Tint. I'm in the shade ST4 Formosa. This foundation skin serum tint thing, it has a very strange texture. It's very thick, it's very viscous. I don't want to say it's very skincare-like, but it's just kind of strange. You know, it's not really what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more like a tint, like a very thin formula that felt really nourishing. This has niacinamide, squalane, and hyaluronic acid in it, so it's very humectant, emollient, and moisturizing, but some people just don't really like that. And it also has like this kind of minerally sunscreen smell that I personally like, but I know a lot of people don't like it. So when I first started using this product, I had an idea of what it was supposed to be, and it wasn't that, so I didn't really like it. And I also found that it wasn't compatible with a lot of like skincare and whatnot underneath, which I find kind of counterintuitive to a makeup product. You know, like you want something that's going to lay over your skin prep and your sunscreen beautifully. I found that this kind of pilled. And granted, I was using my hands and a brush at that time to blend this product out, and I have found that this goes on the best with a sponge. Also, the application method is this like very medical like dropper thing, and it took me the longest time, I'm not gonna lie, it took me the longest time to figure out how much product I needed to use to either not be cakey or to even just cover my entire face, which is, you know, it's strange. Like it's just like a strange texture. It's a strange product. Once I started figuring out that like half a vial, like about half of the amount of the dropper dispersed onto two sides of my cheeks and then applied with a damp sponge, prevented pilling, and it looked a lot more evenly dispersed. It just looked just better. And so I can't say that this is one of my favorite complexion products I've ever used, but by spending a little bit more time with it, I now deem it that it wasn't like a waste of money, and that it is a very lovely product once you figure out how it best works for you, sort of thing. But I do prefer complexion products that are a little bit more user-friendly, that you don't have to like kind of figure out your own routine with it. But yeah, will I repurchase it? Probably not, but I don't consider it a fail anymore, because I've decided they're gonna split down the middle today, and that's just really great for me. I'm going to show you basically how this looks without any like concealer or any other makeup on. It's very dewy, it's very like fresh. I think the shade match is pretty spot on. It's like a light, warm neutral. And yeah, it has a very beautiful dewy glow. This product isn't a fail. I actually really like it a lot. I'm just trying to use it up because it is getting kind of old, and it's the Glossier Stretch Concealer. My skin's doing pretty good despite like skin allergy hives that I'm getting because I've been eating a lot of baked goods because of the holidays, and my gluten intolerance is just real mad about it. This is not a fail. This just is what I'm trying to use up because I don't want it to expire. And I really enjoy it a lot. If you're having like a good skin day, or if you want to kind of spread this out all over the face, this is a very lovely product for that because it is that very moisturizing type of thin formula. It's not going to give you a lot of coverage, but it's going to even out your skin a little bit. Like, why? Why is this? Why? God above. So I went ahead and powdered my face just a little bit because it was kind of dewy, and I'm going to be going in with all powder products today, so I didn't want anything to get like patchy or anything like that. But this next product, the Nars Fort de France highlighter, this is a powder highlighter. It's kind of this champagne-y look. This is a very lovely powder highlighter. I'll actually do a swatch. It's very, very soft. Kind of see the shine on it. It's very, very soft. And, you know, if it's spread out, it can give you kind of like a glassy, semi-wet look glow. Off to the wrong start with this because I bought it when I was really tan, and I was applying it with my like kind of normal method of application, which was like this big, like very dense brush that I usually would use with my other powder products. And I felt like it looked icy on me. Like it didn't have this like glass-like sheen the way it looked like on other people who had used it, who have a very similar skin tone to me. So I was like, what's the deal? So I put it in a fall shop my stash to try and like give this product a chance because I just wasn't reaching for it. Like I had only used it a handful of times and I had decided that like it wasn't really for me, and then I just never did anything about it. So I decided to give it a chance, and I'm so happy that I did. I found that using a very like thinly dense kind of almost looks like a little broom type of brush when I'm pale, this product looks really lovely. And I also started doing my powder bronzer application a little bit different. So I no longer bring it down here because I feel like most of my products are glow giving in some department. So my skincare, my complexion, even if I'm using other powders and whatnot, they usually have some sort of glow giving property to them. So my highlight is just going to emphasize that in a very unnatural way. But I feel like when you apply powder highlight at the tippy top, like not even on your cheekbone per se, but like in here, and then disperse the remaining onto the cheekbone, it makes it look so much better. Is it my favorite powder highlight I've ever used? No. But it's worth keeping now. Like I feel like it's no longer a fail, that it's workable and usable, and I think it's really, really lovely. And on camera, I don't know if you can really tell a difference in my skin with it, but in person, it just elevated the already glowiness to my skin just a little bit more. And this just picks up enough product, and the way it disperses it, it just really spreads it out in a way that it's not going to stick in one spot and look kind of icy, because that's just like not my thing, is like a very apparent icy highlighter. Like I like it to look either wet, or I like it to have like this kind of ethereal type glow. So that's what this provides when applied with a very like flimsy, non-dense brush like this. So I'm really happy that, I gave this product a chance and I figured out a way to use it that works best for me. One category that just was not a fail this year was bronzer. So I'm just going to take the Victoria Beckham Beauty bronzer in Bronze 2 and just put that on my face. Yeah, I didn't try a single powder or cream bronzer or contour this year that I didn't like, so That's a plus. This next product is still like kind of a conundrum to me as to why I bought it in the first place, because I don't really use a lot of powder blushes and I don't really like peach blushes all that much. The only time I really wear them is like as like a slight pop of color in the summertime, but that's just like, you know, sometimes. So this is also the most expensive blush that I've ever bought. Luxury Beauty. It's Tom Ford and it's the Peach Poison blush. There's nothing wrong with this blush. That's the thing, is that I more so was like, wow, this is a really pigmented powder that's peach. And even when I was tan, I was kind of like, oh man, I think I was just not used to using a powder because I was so used to like all of my cream formulas at the time. But now that I've taken a little bit more time, I've been thinking about this blush a lot more and I've been reaching for it a lot more, and I think that it layers beautifully with other powder products and that it has like this very light sheen to it. It's not completely matte, but right now I've just been taking the kind of darker side because this is very, very peach, and so I'm kind of saving that for more summertime use. And it's very pigmented, so I like to take it and then dab it on the back of my hand and then go in. On camera, you can't really see just how impactful it is because these lights are so bright. So they kind of like, they don't really wash me out, but they just kind of, things aren't as saturated. But even with that, you can see how much impact that has just from like using a stipple brush, patting it, and then patting it onto the back of my hand. Like the first time I used it, I like went in and like went right onto my face like a noob. Instant clown. Like I looked so silly. This gives like the slightest sheen. It blends out beautifully. It's very beautiful. I love draping with this. I love to like take it up onto my temples and like really blend it into that area of my face as well. You see, like that just kind of melted in with everything and it looks really, really nice. I'm actually going to take it up onto my forehead a little bit just to kind of marry whatever's going on up there. Things are just really... So I'm given the price of these blushes, I'm really happy that I finally developed a relationship with it and that I can get good use out of it. Probably will never repurchase because it is such an expensive product, but I'm happy that I'm going to be getting my money's worth and that I figured out a way that it works best for me and the products that it is compatible with, because I think that was also an issue as well, is that I was using it with like a cream highlighter and like a cream bronzer and not setting my base and like all of these things that can make a powder blush just perform in a very disastrous way. But yeah, it's a very beautiful color. And I think once I'm tan again, this peach shade is going to be very beautiful, just like a little dab on the apples of my cheeks, just to give me kind of like a brightened appearance. Anyways, yeah, that's nice. That's so beautiful. Not my favorite, but I do think that it is a win. Staying on the Tom Ford train here, this is the Eye Color Quad Creme in Tiger Eye. So I bought this thinking that it was going to be cream formulas, but they're not. They're powders that perform like cream. And once I figured that out, I started to like this product a lot more. These shadows are very subtle. All of them are like washes of kind of creamy, satiny, sheeny, like there's like a taupe, a beige, and like kind of a peach color. And then there's this really rich, warm, dark brown. I was really unsure about this for a really long time. Like every time I did it, I was just kind of like, oh yeah, like these are nice. I still can't justify the price, but here's how I changed my mind. I started using some other powder products, like powder eyeshadows. I was using a palette that I had loved for a really long time, for example, and I was just kind of like, oh yeah, this powder eyeshadow. And then I started thinking about this and how it performed as a powder. And then I was like, oh, I get it. I get the point of this now. Such an elevated powder formula that it performs like a cream. And that's the whole shtick. That's the whole thing. They're so buttery, so smooth. They blend in like 2 seconds. It's very user-friendly. It's very elegant looking. And that's the whole point. And once I kind of got on to that mindset, I was like, oh, this is actually a really great product. Because there for a while, I was kind of like majorly disappointed in this, given that it's like a $90 quad. For what? Still can't justify the price, but I can attest to the formula in this quad. I've never used the other Tom Ford quad formulas. Like, I've never used the like dry to wet formula, and there's some other formulas in the Tom Ford quads as well, but I can attest to the cream formula. It's very lovely. It's very nice. It's very buttery, and yeah, no longer, I completely changed my mind about it. I had to like completely rethink of like the entire point of this palette, and once I did, I was like, oh, this is an exceptional palette. I'm just gonna be taking the peach shade all over my lid. I'm gonna do a very like simple look today. I think the shade that really changed my mind was actually the brown shade, because I was using, it was some single eyeshadow or something in my collection, and I can't remember exactly what it was, so it's not really helpful in that. It's this brown shade, because as soon as I used the other powder brown shade from wherever, I immediately was like, wow, I wish it performed like that Tom Ford Tiger Eye Quad brown. And my whole mind just, the light bulb went on, and I was like, oh, that is a really nice eyeshadow. Every time I want to use a brown, I just think of this, and that, you know, that's the whole point with luxury beauty, is that you actually want to use it, you know? I'm just going to take this bottom corner little area here. It's just, boom. I could leave it there and it would be fine. It just blends, just on its own. It's just so silky, and you can make this super, super dark, and you can sheer it out. There's just no fighting this. There's no fallout. It just goes on. It's so, so creamy, and it blends out beautifully with a brush, and it blends out beautifully with your fingers, which I really, really appreciate in an eyeshadow, is that it's versatile in that way. So you could either get like a smoky look, or you could do, if a more structured look is your thing, you could do that as well. I'm just diffusing this with a brush with nothing on it, just so it kind of melts in with the rest of my skin a little more seamlessly. But yeah, that's just 2 colors right there. Very beautiful. I think I'm going to take the lightest shade, this kind of like champagne-y shade, and just put it more towards the inner corner, and she'll be done. But like, as you see, it's very subtle, it's very light. The cream formulas, especially like on the shimmers, are very like subtle and elegant and stuff, and so you're not gonna get like a crazy like wet extreme eye look. Like, this is like very subtle, very soft, and if that's what you're looking for, I think that this is a great palette. So happy this is a win now. This next product actually has nothing to do with the quality or the performance of this product at all, and more so, I bought the wrong mascara. Yeah, so the Hourglass mascara, I was under the assumption that it was a tubing formula, and it turns out they have 2 mascaras. Yep, I was supposed to buy the lengthening, like the instant lash extension one. That is the tubing formula, and I bought the Caution Extreme Volume. And so when I first started wearing it, I was just like, you know, this is really nice, but it's not tubing. It's just coming off the same way that a normal mascara runs and just does all the normal mascara things do. it wasn't difficult to take off. Like for a normal mascara, this is actually really excellent when it comes to removal. But I didn't like it because it wasn't coming off like a normal tubing mascara. And I was like, what the hell is everyone talking about? And then I was watching a video and someone's like, oh yeah, this tubing mascara by Hourglass. It's the lengthening. And I was like, that's not what I have. And so my entire outlook on this mascara changed because I no longer see it in the lens of as a tubing mascara. I see it as like a normal volumizing mascara. So, with that said, I think it's an excellent mascara and I highly recommend. If you're not into a tubing formula and you want big, voluminous, like thick eyelashes and you don't mind like just normal mascara qualities, yeah, she's great. She's great. The Hourglass Caution Extreme Lash Mascara. It's very lovely. It's very lovely. And yeah, I don't regret buying it, but I would have preferred to have been able to try out the tubing mascara. I just feel so silly because I remember like when I like introduced it in a video, I was like, yeah, it doesn't really perform in the way that I thought, but it's still really nice. And I was very conflicted. But now I'm not conflicted anymore because I just know that I bought the wrong thing. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind a normal mascara formula. It's just that my lashes are so thick. Like, I have really, really thick eyelashes and oh god, they're so long. So if I wear my glasses, I can't wear mascara because they hit my lenses and they make my lenses all dirty. And it literally like moves my glasses when I blink. So that's just not a fun experience for me. So, yeah, I'm super particular in that way because of what my eyelashes are like. So, yeah, so with one eye done and one not, you can just see just like, that was just a couple little swipes, one coat. It looks really great. I really love this mascara. But yeah, so because of how my lashes are, a tubing formula is just better for me in the long run because it just makes cleaning my face so much faster and it just feels better on my lashes overall. Now that I know that this isn't a tubing formula, I really, really like it, and I've actually been reaching for it more, just knowing what I'm getting into. Like, if I know what I'm getting into, then my mind changes pretty quickly. But if I have an assumption about something and it doesn't do what I think it will do, I think like most people are kind of like this. If something doesn't perform the way you think it's going to perform, you will just kind of automatically write it off and don't like it. But once I discovered that I indeed did not buy a tubing mascara, I instantly was like, oh, that is a really good mascara. It is kind of a thicker formula and it really gets in there and it layers beautifully. I put on 2 coats here. But the removal is fairly easy. And yeah, it's just good. I've definitely changed my mind about this. I went ahead and lined my lips with the NYX Nude Beige lip liner. Okay, so this next product, I'm really happy that I changed my mind about because it's essentially a very expensive lip balm. This is the Dior Lip Glow color. This is the Dior Lip Glow Color Reviver Balm, and I got this in the shade Mahogany. Now, it has nothing to do with the formula and everything to do with the color. I would see people put this on and it would look like a slightly reddy brown, but on me, I felt like it just turned berry. And I think a lot of what it had to do with was that I was applying too much. Like I was like really swiping her on. And also I'm just not used to seeing certain colors on me. Like I stick to a very like nudie brown color. Like that's kind of my comfort zone with my lips. Like I like to buy lip products that I know I'm going to use every day and not just to have like, oh, like different varieties of lip shades like I used to back in the day, like a plethora of like different colored liquid lipsticks. Like that's just not who I am anymore. But Mahogany, I felt like I didn't like the color, but the more I started to use it, the more I was like, oh, yeah, this does look good. So I like to take it just like in the middle, kind of like a popsicle stain. And the thing is, you know what got me onto this product? And it wasn't even this product. It was doing a Shop My Stash where I just used Black Honey by Clinique, which is essentially a dupe for this, but it's like a non-balmy, like nourishing formula. And when I figured out that those two were essentially the same color, I was like, oh, I'm gonna start using this. And once I did and I started using it all the time, I was like, wow, this is an exceptional color for me. Like, this is really, really nice. Like, I need to branch into like kind of like brownie berry colors a little bit more rose shades. And so I started to do that and I was like, oh, I feel like I have variety now. I feel like I don't just have like terracottas and nude browns and beigey colors. Yeah, and so I just really like this now, and I think that it's a really easy go-to everyday shade, and it just works for me. I don't know how much it works with this eyeshadow. To tell you the truth, it's kind of clashing, but you know, it's a review video. It's a review video. Anyways, yeah, so Dior Mahogany. Yeah, I think it's really, really great. And I'm happy that I reached for it now because this is not cheap. This is not cheap. Yeah. Okay, so that is it. Those are all of the products that I changed my mind about in 2022. And I'm so happy that I did. I think that this look looks very beautiful, very glowy. Even though I use the majority of just like powder products, which is just not my thing really too much anymore. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!